All right, so today, well, happy Monday, everybody. And look, it's March. So essentially, at the end of this month, it's the end of the first quarter. So if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up anywhere. So this is a good month to review your business plan, review your goals, and really ensure that everything is alignment. So you want to make sure a few things are checked off, right? That you guys have done your core four, you've done your KPIs and money, and that you understand how to use the implementation tracker, right? And that you're actually using it. Because it's not about what you learn for us, it's about what you can actually do, implement, and all those great emails that all of you are continuing to send about the results that you're getting. Make sense? So as we dive more into the actual phonetics of effective conversations, AKA sales, we want to make sure that you understand one concept associated to this. If you don't practice this stuff, it will never work. Never. You want to know why? Because if you don't feel confident in what you're saying, you're never going to say it. It's the same exact thing for those of us who have kids or have learned anything new. You know, you watch kids trying to walk, they fall, they fall, they fall, but it's through repetition that you get confidence. And confidence comes from consistency, right? All of us did not get the way we are by not doing the same things. Whether you have a good habit or a bad habit, it's all built on repetitious action. I call this the section of the business called repetitious boredom. It's doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know, I was watching the Redeem Team with my son last night, and a lot of it's built around Kobe Bryant, how he influenced the Olympic team into winning after we lost in, I believe, 2004. And one of the things they said in an interview with him was, you know, do you ever get worried to take that shot at the end of the game? He goes, no, never. They said, why? He said, if I practice that shot so many times that regardless of what happens, I know I'm best prepared. And it's the same exact thing with understanding your value proposition, effectively pre-qualifying people. It's that time in that you put. And as much as you think your value proposition is your most valuable thing, do you know what the actual most valuable skill is in real estate? How to pre-qualify a client, right? So can my team open up the chat? All right, everyone drop in the chat what if they have an actual pre-qualifying process, the same one that they follow every time to get a specified outcome. And if you don't, just say no. All right, so the overwhelming response is no and not consistently. Well, have you ever ended up with a horrible client? Raise your hand. The whole point of a filter is to keep out the things that you don't want, and pre-qualifying is your ultimate filter in life. And that's your benefit, right? The other part is it makes you look more professional. Could you imagine going into a lawyer where they didn't ask you any questions to understand your case? Could you imagine going into getting a surgery where the doctor says, all right, let's just operate? And you're like, whoa, 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 you didn't ask me anything. What I find really interesting about the real estate business is it omits all the principles that we're used to in every other facet of our life. So write this down. Number one, pre-qualifying will make me look more professional and stand out amongst the competition. Pre-qualifying will make me look more professional and stand out amongst the competition. Number two, pre-qualifying will allow me to only work with the right clients that want my specific service. Pre-qualifying will allow me to only work with the right clients that want my specific service. Look, the reality is after talking to somebody, if someone says to you, yeah, I'm selling my home and my expectations is that you're available 24/7. I constantly need updates. And when I call you, I expect you to pick up the phone. If not, this is not going to work. There's this saying, don't walk, run. Run fast. Because that's like signing up for hell, right? Number 3, pre-qualifying will allow you to understand and meet a client where they are. One of the biggest mistakes people make on a pitch is they just go in there and they just start talking. The last time I checked, moving sucks, and it's for a specific reason. And every human being's needs are as unique as your hands. They're unique to you. There's some commonalities and themes that they fall into, but there are a lot of specifics to this, right? Number 4, effectively pre-qualifying will allow you to close the seller on the first appointment. So I want you guys all to just take a minute and write down, based on those 4 things that I said, which ones do you think would make an impact for you? Go ahead. Okay, now this is where you commit it to memory, right? Is actually write it down, right? Showing up more professional, working with the right clients, knowing how to close someone on the appointment. Write them down in the chat. Working with the right clients who want my service. Working with only the right clients. This is how we start programming this into our brain, right? Do you notice I'm going to walk you through the same process I'll tell you to do with clients. See, the first part is you need to get people to the pleasure point, right? So if you're writing working with the right clients, closing on the first appointment, working with the right clients, working with only the right clients, closing on the first appointment, your brain will tune into this because now it wants it in a very different way than if I just kept giving you information. Marion Philly, you do close people on the first appointment. Marion's in Wilton, Connecticut. She is like the queen of Wilton. She is a closer. And I'll share a quick story about Marion while you guys write this. I met Marion when they were recruited and they first came to Compass. She's the #1 agent in Wilton, Connecticut. And I said, I've very rarely been met with such harsh tone in my life. Did you ever overprice listings? She goes, excuse me. She goes, that's my name and reputation. I'm not doing those kinds of things. That stuck with me 4.5 years later. And I think that's one of her keys to her success, maintain control and authority. So if you look at this, you guys should want all 4, but as you could see, everything we do is a very systematic process. So let me tell you about our version of the Med-C. And actually, this is something that was born out of the pandemic. So, being a business coach, when the economy changes, the market changes, whatever happens, you kind of have that part like Nostradamus in you where you have to kind of predict the future. So Luciana was here when this all started, and she'll remember this. The main thing that I realized is when you meet somebody in person, there's certain energy, there's certain relationships that are there that could predicate and almost you use as a crutch to not actually being a great conversator or a great salesperson, right? Like that feeling. Remember, trust is a feeling created through engagement and interaction. So when you're in front of somebody and you have rapport with them and you have a history with them, a lot of these things are omitted. But then when COVID started, there was a certain element of fear that was installed in people. And the second part of it was, they go, well, what do we do, coach? I said, I deemed it the communication economy. Because if you take away in-person meetings, how much more effective is it, honestly, to be able to work with somebody in person or close somebody in person than it is through virtual or through a phone? You can read body language, tonality, it's completely different, right? So I called it the communication economy, and that whoever was going to be able to communicate with the most clarity, concisely, where someone actually understood what they were saying, right, would win. That is the communication economy. So out of it, we came up with this process called the MED-C. I call the MED-C the 4 drivers of human behavior, right? Is what you're communicating clearly and concisely so the other person understands. Well, how can you communicate to someone clearly and concisely if you don't even know what they want, right? So in leadership, we talk about the iceberg. And if you know about the Titanic, it's not what's above the iceberg that sunk them, it's what's below the iceberg, right? And so now, as we focus on this, let's start thinking about a person. If you look above the iceberg, right, it's, are you the agent that's going to sell my home fastest for the most amount of money, right? Like, that's what we really focus on here. And remember, I talked about those 3 lies in real estate, right? The 3 lies that agents walk into homes and say why people don't like you. I'm going to sell your house for the fastest amount of time, for the most amount of money possible, for the least amount of hassle. This is crazy. You can't control time, money, or sure as hell find me a real estate deal that has no hassles. Even when you buy cash, there's still a problem because there are people involved, right? Everything in life is simple. People make everything complicated. There are egos involved. There's emotion involved because moving sucks, right? Like, no one wants to move. So if you start thinking about this, when you show up to somewhere, what do you need to do? You need to understand what's underneath the iceberg. Now, this works for everything. It works for Trisha's here. I did this on my job interview with her, right? And she actually, when Trisha used to work at Compass, Trisha actually watched me do this in a training video. And she's like, you med-seed me. Like, what the heck? But even going along with it, she was still happy to do it because it addressed her needs, right? So anywhere you go, you have these 4 things. By the way, this works in relationships really well, right? Especially if you're getting into a new one. So let's talk about those 4 drivers. M stands for motivation. E stands for expectations. D stands for disappointments. C stands for concerns. These are in your notes, by the way, so don't freak out. Just focus here and pay attention. So motivations, right? In anything you do in life, there's a motivation for showing up. There's something that motivated you to be here today. And a result of your time today, there was something excited that you want to happen. Now, the reason that we use those 2 in the beginning, it gives someone motivation is motive to act, right? And the second one is, what are you excited about? All right, you're going to take this action. As a result of this action, what are you most excited about happening? Now, this gets someone to the pleasure cortex of their brain, right? So as soon as you start the conversation, it's like, yeah, this is why I'm doing it, and this is what excited I'm getting. People will tune in differently. E stands for expectations. I don't care where you go, you have expectations. You go to a hotel, you have expectations. You go to a restaurant, you have expectations. As human beings, we all have expectations of what an experience is going to be like. Now, the D and the C are really important. Like, these ones really connect with people because no one ever asks them, right? Hey, I would say, hey, Lindsay Kulik, I would say, our goal is not only to meet your expectations, but to exceed them. And the only way to effectively do that is understand what past disappointments have you had with brokers or any other service providers so we ensure not to repeat them. And then all of this stuff comes out. You know that PTSD where you do something and all of a sudden it feels like you slept on a landmine or a bomb. It's just like, and the people like just freak out and they're like, whoa, what the heck just happened? It's because you don't know what people's past disappointments are. C are concerns. You know those hidden objections that come up after you sell somebody's house in like 2 days after doing a month's worth of staging prep and everything, and you're like, you ready to take the offer? It's like, $50,000 worth of the asking price. I'm like, oh, I don't really know. What do you mean you don't know? And the answer is, well, I really need a place to go, so I can't accept this offer until I do that. It's because you don't pre-qualify. Everything comes out in those 4 questions. D is disappointments. So if you look at to see concerns, right? Lindsay's in Florida. So if you say, do you have any concerns with your home selling in 3 minutes? Do you have any concerns where you're going to move next? Do you have any concerns with the way the economy is or any other concerns in making a move right now? I like saying making a move versus selling because it takes the salesperson view out of it, right? Do you have any concerns about the timeline, right? So completely, are we all in alignment on these four? Good. Now let's talk about the CSC four principles of communication, right? You have to meet them where they are. And that's done by asking great questions, being a great active listener, and then having a conversation based on what the other party wants and needs. That's the only thing you have to talk about. Hit yes if this has ever happened to you. This happens actually to me all the time, and it's very strange because I understand the psychology of sales. So you'll go somewhere with like a certain motivation and expectation and everything else, right? And you'll go in there and you want to ask people questions, right? Because really what you don't realize is those four things need to be satisfied in your brain so you feel comfortable and confident with the decision you make. If these four drivers are not satisfied, you don't feel comfortable, you might not trust the person, you have uncertainty, and you have all these questions, which we call objections. And the last time I checked, the majority of people have no sales training, no conversation training, and completely suck at objections. Sorry to be so blunt about it. But most of you get just defensive, combative, explaining, and it's just gone. But if you knew what to communicate, and you paired it with your value proposition, you only talked about what the person wants, what do you think the experience is for the other person? The exact one they wanted. So I walk into a place and I start asking questions, right? So when I got my car this past summer last year, I don't know when it was, my accountant told me go buy a 3-ton SUV so you can fully depreciate the entire thing in the first year. So he gave me a list of places and I went and I just had a list of questions and things that were important to me. So I went to the dealership and I started asking the guy questions and he went along with everything I did, right? And the car that I got, people like it for engines and all this stuff. He's like, let me guess, you have no concern with the engine. I said, no, I care actually more about the sound system, right? And what it could look like. He did not bring anything up, right? And he kind of went through a similar process, not exactly. And in the end, I bought a very expensive car in and out 35 minutes. And in the end, I said, thank you. He said, thank you for what? I go, thank you for not vomiting all the information I did not want, did not need, did not pertain to me and waste my time. Because that's how people check out, right? So now let's walk through the actual script, right? So I would walk in here and the best time to do this is calling the client prior to. So I'd say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have a few important questions to ask you so we can focus on having the conversation you want to have when we're together based on what's most important to you. Is now a good time. The conversation you want to have. When people hear that, do they kind of change the way that they're listening to you? Absolutely, right? That would be great. Now is a good time. What would you like to know? What is your motivation for making a move at this time? Doesn't that sound like, so what's your time frame in wanting to sell your home? Do you see the difference in those two, right? This is so conversational and human based. People love it. And we've been doing this for almost 3 years. And I have clients that do this with hedge fund millionaires that close appointments like this. And you know what all these people say? Thank you so much. I had an hour blocked off. You've answered all of our questions. We actually feel great with you. Because no one else is going to do this. The thing you have to realize about all of our processes, they're homegrown. These aren't ripoffs. These aren't duplicates. This is not anything that anyone's going to get anywhere else. So the uniqueness of all of it is a competitive advantage. So he would say, what would you like to know? So what is your motivation for making a move to this time? Shout out to my friends in Florida. I'd like to move to Florida to save on taxes. Got it. So you're moving to Florida to save on taxes. You see how I echo back what they said so they understand I listen. What are you most excited about happening as a result of this move? Remember, now we're going to the pleasure thing. We're retiring, and the extra savings and taxes will really help us have a more comfortable retirement, particularly when we could travel. So this will help you this will help you save taxes and be able to travel more, correct? Yes. What are your expectations of an agent you partner with for the sale of your home? You notice I use the word partner because in the future, we're going to talk about the you control, I control, no control, and the keys to effective partnership. We're seeding things on our pitch now, right? And then say, I'd like an agent who has a robust marketing plan to really maximize the sales price of the home and is a great communicator. Sound familiar with what your clients would say? Nod your head if it's correct, right? This is what people want: price, marketing, communication. And this is where you really start using these words. What I hear is most important to you is an agent who has a strong marketing plan to get you the best price for your home, and an agent who provides excellent customer service through communication. We're repeating back to them what they're saying, right? A quick caveat: do not ever start telling people what you do in this appointment. You're going to rabbit hole, tangent. It ruins the psychology and the recipe of the formula. The seller, yes, exactly. For me to exceed your expectations, I'd like to know what disappointments you may have had with agents or any experience or any service providers. This will ensure I don't repeat any of those poor experiences. Seller, I'm glad you asked. The last agent did a great job. However, we were chasing him for information and never really knew what was going on, and it ruined the experience for us. What I hear is that communication is one of the most important things for you. And regardless of how good of a job we do selling your home, if we don't communicate thoroughly through the process, it will be a bad experience for you. Yes, exactly. You got them right there. Lastly, do you have any concerns with putting your home on the market at this time and moving to Florida? Yes, we're worried about finding another place to go. We hear the market's very competitive and we're worried about where we'll go. I see. So your concern is being able to find and secure the right place to move. Is that something you'd feel more comfortable with if we accounted for prior to listing your home on the market? That would be really helpful and make us feel more comfortable. Got it. Now, this is where you blow people away. This part here is where really listening and asking the questions comes in. This is like the cash register right here. So I would say, I want to make sure I listen to you clearly and let me know if I left anything out. Your main motivation for moving to Florida is saving on taxes, and you're most excited about saving on taxes so you're able to retire more comfortable and travel. Your expectations of an agent is an agent who has a robust marketing plan and is an excellent communicator. Your past disappointments you would like to avoid are not having clear communication throughout the process, and your main concern is having a place to go since Florida is a competitive market. Did I leave anything out? No, that's everything. We're excited to meet you. That's great. I'll see you at Monday at 5 p.m. I'll be sending you a calendar invite to confirm the appointment. There it is. Interesting, right? It's a good way to start a Monday. Now, hit yes or no if you feel you have everything you need to now go and effectively pitch this person. If you say no, I think you might have not been listening to me. So think about it. All I have to do now is show up with a great written marketing plan and a predictable communication plan, and start partnering with an agent in Florida and show up with that person, and show up with several names covering different geographic areas, and tell them I have 3 partners that I work with in Florida. Here are their 3 names. I suggest speaking to each one of them to get an idea of the area. If that's okay with you, I'm happy to make an email introduction. This is it. Remember, 3 things clients care about: how will you maximize the equity in the home, what's the marketing strategy you'll have that will maximize their equity, and how you create a predictable communication throughout the process. The script is in the portal. Same place everything is. They're making a move if they're going to live in their vacation home. right? So look, don't get caught in semantics, right? It's don't, like, when your brain goes there, just stop it and focus on what it's doing. If you're in a second home market, right? The question is, what's making you consider making a move to an area for a second vacation home, right? Like, just use the words and just add on. All right, couple things high level, right? Number one, review the Med-C process. Number two, find a role play partner to practice. Number two, practice a minimum 2 times a week until you commit this to memory. Thumbs up, everybody. You guys liking all these sales trainings, conversation trainings, and everything else? Listen, in the end, look, business is about strategy and growth, but don't get it confused. We want you to make money. And personally speaking, training on all these sales and conversation things are like my favorite thing in the world to do. Like, I love it. I could sit here and do this all day, like playing the objection game and all these other fun things we have. You'll be fully equipped to talk about every facet of your business and client. And we talk about things like sharing the market and everything else. Like, it's going to blow your mind away. Now, Trisha, I have something really excited for you guys. We have been working, and Trisha's been spearheading this here, is that we've been working on a very robust guide to Compass tools training, right? Who wants to know how to use the tools better and make money in the way that we would suggest? I hope everyone raises their hand. And if you don't, you need to say yes. Because if you use the tools here, you make money. Remember, perceive versus actualized value. Well, we're opening it up for your feedback. Now, when we talk about feedback, listen, the smartest thing to do is ask people what they want and then give it to them, just like this, right? So we're not reinventing the wheel. Trisha's going to share with you now kind of what we're doing and how you could sign up to provide us feedback and kind of work with us also in like really developing this so it addresses everyone's needs. Trisha?
And believe it or not, it won't allow me share my screen right now. So just give me a moment while I panic and fix this. I do apologize. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to exit and come back. So give me 1 second. My absolute apologies on this.
All right, well, let me walk you through this. So pretty much what we want to do is build all of us a end-to-end system, right? What's an end-to-end system? Have you ever wondered how you take all of these conversations I have, all of the tools at Compass, and go through the entire selling process where every single thing is accounted for, every email template, every script, every text message, every video you send? How much better would that make your life, right? That's what we want to create. We want to build the first true end-to-end platform, because one of the challenges is that in real estate, it doesn't exist, right? And the sheer fact that we choose only to work with Compass agents actually makes it something that we can achieve, right? Because we can build it based on one platform. In the 4.5 years I've been here, there's not a single tool that I don't know about, that I haven't made training on, that I don't have a very different way of using it than everyone else. Like Business Tracker, for example, I call the operating system for your business. It's very different, right? The way that we can use Business Tracker to pitch clients will blow your mind away. But the challenge is, it's like getting something to put together and having no directions. Then it's up to the consumer or the client, which should be all of you, to figure out how to do it on your own. And many of you I've met have robust systems, but it doesn't take into account like what we're teaching here today, right? Like essentially there's still somewhat of a gap. So over the coming months, we'll be working with all of you and, select clients and sales managers to really put this thing together, where this year we can really roll out the first end-to-end transaction, end-to-end platform. All right, Trisha. Trisha, you good? Okay, hit the unmute button now.
Okay, I'm good now. Thank you so
All
much.
right, I have to drop off. So, with love in my heart, I love you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the buyer version. Make sure you find a role play partner. Bye.
Chirag, thank you so much. So as Chirag said, my name's Trisha Barlow. I'm ex-Compass. I'm also an ex-software engineer and company owner and everything else. And we're really excited about this new program, but we're looking for your help. So as Chirag said, we are producing a new program that is related to the Compass tools, and we're looking for volunteers that'll give us their honest feedback on the training guides we are making. So if you're interested in being part of this, if we just go to the next screen, if you scan this QR code, if you want to have a look at these user guides we're creating, and we want your honest to goodness, real feedback, like this is overcomplicated or this is spot on, I could follow the details. So if you're interested, scan that. You'll be taken into a little Google Doc where you can input your email, what tools you would like to review for us, but ones that you feel really good about, and how many you would be able to review in a week, and we'll do the rest. So again, thank you for taking part in this, and we really are very excited about it. But again, everything we do is for you guys, so your input will make this even better. So if you're interested, scan that and let's give it a go. Mary, you can't get in. Did you try scanning it? Let me see if we can just, Harrison, can we just get the link in there instead of scanning the QR code? I'm scanning it right now and it seems to work for me. Is anyone else having a problem? Yeah, if you just use your camera, you should be good to go. Okay, great. And then we're going to have these in the resources today as well, and we'll put the little link in there too if you want to just click on that. Mary, I can email you the link itself directly, so so you can get it. So don't worry about that. I'll just send it straight to you. And again, thank you all. We are really excited about this, so I hope you're excited too. Sure, Patty, I will do my best and email it to you too. No problem. But again, like I said, it's all on the resources, so you'll be able to get it there. Thanks, guys. I love this feedback. I love this energy. Everybody want to take part. This is so exciting. Fantastic. I actually think we already have the link in this chat. If you just scroll up a little bit there, you can see the Google form is there. CSC community already dropped it in. There you go. So just click here and then I don't have to send emails, which is awesome. So click it there, fill it in, and let me know. We'll be interesting to see your feedback. So again, thank you, everybody. And do you need more time in this, or is everybody good? Thanks, Antonia. Take care. Super. Thanks, Cricket. Perfect, Mary. That's great. Sure. And there's no need for a password. It's just a Google form. You don't need to put a password in. Okay, thank you, everybody. Take care.